All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motor City Uncut, episode 152, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. I'm your host, Dorf. Oh, man, why am I so tongue-tied? Joined each and every week by Major Sports Network founder Adam Hernandez, and what do you know, the part-timer's not here again.
I like how he let us know yesterday afternoon. Oh, yeah, by the way, everybody. I'm not going to...
You're a bachelor party. Jeez Louise, we're going to have to start, people are going to start thinking he's dead or something.
No, he's not dead.
He's not dead.
He might be dead to us, but...
Anyway, thanks for joining us here on October 22nd, 2017. Late as usual, but, whatever. You don't pay for this. All right, big show tonight. We were off last week, but you know what? We're not covering anything from 2 weeks ago. We're just doing pretty much the last 3 days.
Yeah, big last 3 days.
So
big last 3 days.
First off, Tigers have named their 38th manager in franchise history. That is a former Twins manager and now former Diamondbacks bench coach, Ron Gardenhire, signing him to a 3-year contract.
You know what?
I don't have anything good to say about this.
I'm actually kind of surprised by a lot of the fan reaction to this. I figured a lot of fans would be happy that they are bringing Ron Gardenhire.
I think there's a generational gap in your feelings about this.
But for the very most part, it seems like fans are not satisfied with this hiring. They're not happy about this hiring, which
I don't know where you've been looking. All I've seen is satisfaction.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of dissatisfaction with this hire amongst fans. And like I said, I'm proud of those Tigers fans for having those feelings. Because on the surface, and you know what, on the surface, I don't know what the Tigers were doing here with it. I don't know if they thought this was going to be a move that they could get everybody behind, everyone within the organization, everybody, all the fans and whatnot. But it's not a good hire. It's really not. It isn't. And when this happened, Dorf, I told you a couple of days ago that you could maybe justify this hiring 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago. You cannot justify it now. Not in the least bit.
No, absolutely not. This would be, hiring Ron Gardenhire would be actually, if you want to look at it from around the league perspective, the perfect move for the Washington Nationals.
Or even the Boston Red Sox.
Even the Boston Red Sox, teams that are ready to win now with old-timey style roster construction. That would be those two squads to a T.
Mm-hmm. And it would fit obviously Dave Dombrowski's mentality too, with going out and getting an old school type of guy, which is what Dave Dombrowski is.
Absolutely.
Dave Dombrowski's an old school general manager.
Very much believes in the kind of the old way of roster construction, the old way of doing things. And you know what? Here's the deal. That's proven to be inefficient and ineffective.
Well, you've seen...
And not just in theory, or not just on paper, in practice over the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, look at this year, Dorf. Look at how things played out this season.
Look at the teams that were still alive.
Look at, the Astros, one of the teams that
cutting edge.
Yes,
they were the first to try it.
Well, they are a team that probably uses sabermetrics more than any other team in baseball.
Absolutely.
The not the Astros, but the Dodgers have probably the biggest analytical department in all of baseball.
Oh, professional sports.
So, they have Gabe Kapler running. What is it? What does Gabe Kapler run?
And you got to remember who their team president. He's not the general manager. That's Farhan Zaidi. Andrew Friedman. What's his background?
Sabermetrics. Well,
he's an economist.
Yeah, he's an economist. Yep.
What is being an economist all about?
Numbers.
Data.
Mm-hmm.
Metrics and analytics, man.
Not only that, you saw the wonders he did with Tampa Bay. When
this whole idea that you can't quantify mathematically or with data or the game of baseball, the utmost easiest sport to quantify mathematically because only one team can score at a time. There's no chance when one team is on defense that they, can have a pick six or have a turnover. No, you got to get 3 outs so you can go back and hit. It's the easiest sport on the planet. Well, outside, I don't know, maybe cricket, kind of the same idea. to quantify mathematically.
Yeah.
And the idea that sort of approach doesn't have any bearing or validity is horseshit. It's just ignorance. Hell, the founding father, let's call it, of sabermetrics, Bill James, was a third shift security guard with no mathematics background. He could quantify baseball mathematically. Everybody should be able to quantify baseball mathematically and apply those principles. Well, you know what? Let's leave the average fan out of it. You know what? They don't need to. The sports is their release. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be thinking. They just want to be entertained, and that's okay. But the average member, every member of a baseball organization should be able to do that in spades. Yet we're going to hire somebody who has a direct quote. This is how, I don't remember how old this is. Numbers lie a lot. I have a hard time believing all that stuff. Numbers are, I'm not gonna pound the table and shake the camera. Numbers are just observations of real world events. They're very simple. It's binary. Did it happen or did it not? That's all it is. And it's just counting. It's counting. It's that simple. Numbers cannot lie to you.
Thing about it too, Dorf, is these numbers, if you're a manager in baseball and you are willfully ignorant of the numbers, then if I'm running an organization, then I have no use for you as my manager.
Isn't your job as a manager to put your team in the best position to win?
Absolutely.
That's called playing the numbers.
But the thing is, too, Dorf, is even if you are an old school guy by trade,
sure,
you don't have to be the one that is crunching the numbers. No. They have
guys with PhDs in the economic statistics and mathematics working in their analytics department. Read the fucking report.
Yes, just read the report. Now we sound like Jim Caldwell.
No, that's check the report.
Oh, check the report, whatever. Look at the report. See what's working.
If you don't know how to interpret it, ask them.
Yes. That's all you have to do.
That's their only reason for existence within their organization. Mm-hmm. To generate that report for you.
Yes. And to simply throw that away in the trash and voluntarily not look at it, then you are not somebody who I want managing a modern day baseball team. And I hope Ron Gardenhire, I hope he
to his credit, he did say all the right things at his introductory press conference.
Okay,
in this regard.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what though, Dorf? I have a hard time believing a near 60-year-old man who's been in baseball all of his life is not going
to fall back on that as soon as
exactly.
Shit hits
no,
the fan.
you said it the other day when it's the
pressure's on, back against the wall. You're gonna fall back into what you know.
Yes,
and that ain't
bottom of the ninth, bottom of the eighth, whatever. You're late inning baseball here, back against the wall. What are you gonna do?
You can win me over. He could win me over entirely in the opening week of the season based on bullpen usage. If you use your bullpen like Terry Francona has down the stretch, Andrew Miller is arguably the game's best reliever. Mm-hmm. He gets used anywhere between any time of the game when the 3 to 6 outs he's going to get are going to be the most important to influence that game. That could mean he gets you out of a shit spot in the fourth to hold on. You know what? You're starting, you're in an offensive slugfest today, and it's 6-5 in the fourth, and they've got 2 on and 2 out. It's time for you to go get your starter. Andrew Miller might come in there. Now, if the Detroit Tigers adopt that similar philosophy, now you have a guy, your best reliever, by the numbers, is Shane Green. Assuming they don't trade him, which is that might happen. Shane Green is a former starter and get more than 3 outs. He's shown to be, he's appeared in 70 flipping games 2 years in a row? He has the endurance. You can win me over in the first 2 weeks, if you play platoon matchups with your lineup and actually listen to what the numbers tell you, or B, use, the understanding of that all bullpen outs are not created equal. And, use your best, highest leverage pitchers in the highest leverage situations navigating through the end of games.
It's not going to happen.
If that happens, you win me. I'm done. I will not complain, and I will give you leeway, even if it doesn't work. Because you know what? If you go with what the data tells you, and it just happens to not work out that day, fine. You know what? The classic saying in college football is, well, the other guys are on scholarship too. The other guys are paid lots of money to hit or pitch or throw or field a baseball. You know what? Their guys were just better than you that day, and that's okay.
Tip your hat.
Yeah, absolutely. But this whole, if you adopt that fully and use it in practice, I'll get off your back. But I don't believe it's going to happen.
I don't believe it is either. I think they're going to have set. I think they're going to have set rules.
And you know what? There is some. Yeah. You know what the set rule can be? The set rule can be. It's not that you pitch the eighth. It's or you're the eighth inning guy. You're the seventh inning guy. You're the ninth inning guy. It can be. Hey, when the game's in highest doubt, you're my first call.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like that. So you have to sit
there. Andrew Miller. Hey, follow the game.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think you're going to have your seventh inning guy, you're going to have your eighth inning guy, your setup guy, and then you're going to have your ninth inning guy.
And then you know what? We'll sit here and criticize accordingly.
And again, it doesn't. It's not going to matter.
This whole, just look at the basic numbers. A major league average reliever converts a save 70, I believe it was 72% of the time. A guy that makes $10 million or more that you would qualify as elite is only at like 78.
Mm-hmm.
Use your best guys in the highest leverage situation. And that was like even among the league's best. You're only truly tested in the ninth inning outside of the playoffs. We're talking regular season here. Like 10 times a year.
You know what though, Dorf? That is extremely new school what you're talking about as far because we've discussed, I can't remember if it was on this show or if it was on Sandlot Report, where we discussed totally eliminating
get rid of the closing rule.
I don't
think it was actually the Majors Live.
Was it the Majors Live?
Yes, it was.
But that is incredible.
The whole idea of the goose statistic.
Yes. No, that was a Sandlot Report.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The goose, the goose egg. Which, if anybody wants, go
look at our back catalog.
Yeah, look at that back catalog, or go Google Nate Silver goose egg.
Goose egg.
It's
a 538 piece.
Yes, it's an incredible piece. It's cutting edge.
And that's what it's been a while since I read it. That's where I get that like average reliever save statistic.
Mm-hmm.
I might not remember that correctly, but I'm about. It's about right.
Yeah, but go take a look at our back catalog. Go take a look at Nate Silver's article. It is a cutting edge statistic. And it's not in baseball right now. You can't go on to Baseball Reference.
The goose is not a commonly accepted statistic.
No, you cannot go on to Baseball Reference or Fangraphs or anything like that because it doesn't exist right now. Not in that sense, at least. But what you're talking about, Dorf, is incredibly cutting edge. That is about as new school as it gets when you're talking about eliminating the closer. And that's something that I can tell you right now. Ron
Gardenhire. Just call him a fireman.
Yeah, Ron Gardenhire is not going to do that. Should he do that? Absolutely, especially with this team, too. When you're going to be going into next season basically playing with house money. Now, that may not be the sense.
Oh, there are no expectations for the next 2 years.
No, that may not be the sense for Ron Gardenhire. I don't know what they told Ron Gardenhire in his interview or when they brought him into the office to tell him he was hired. But that's not going to be how things are with this team. I can guarantee you right now, and I'm not saying that just to have you lose all hope or anything like that, Dorf, but
oh, I already don't have hope.
Yeah, I know that, and I figure you did. I figure you're kind of being facetious when you're laying all that out.
Oh no, and here's the deal: you may not have the talent to effectively deploy that, but you know what? The idea, quite frankly, all your relievers sucked in higher leverage situations over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
They all did. So pick the one who has the best numbers and put him in the highest leverage spot. Give yourself the best chance to win. You know what? If your guys are not as good as their guys, tough shit. You still made the right decision. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, I would.
But you know what? The roster's not. They're not gonna contend. It doesn't really truly matter, and that's the other thing that can be concerned. Say he rolls out with that, that new age, let's call it new age pitching management, rolls out with that next year. It doesn't work. How long do you think it would take? How many blown games? Because they're not save opportunities. How many games blown by the bullpen is it going to take to him to go back to the original old school way of thinking, despite what the numbers tell him?
Not many.
Maybe 3.
Yeah. I don't. You know what though, Dorf? You know what really
it just comes down to your guys are not going to be good.
You know what's really
your bullpen is going to blow.
You know what's perplexing about this hiring though, Dorf, is what I'm just interested to know what they told Gardenhire in.
You want to manage again? Anybody else give you this call?
But the thing is though, is he was one of 3 guys who was interviewed by the Red Sox. I am a firm believer that Ron Gardenhire has a place in this league as a manager. He does.
Not with a stripped down rebuilding team.
So I'm interested to know what they told him when they hired him. Because keep in mind, this is a guy who's almost 60 years old, been in baseball all of his life. You have to figure this is a guy who wants to win, right?
I mean, they all do.
They all do, but okay. This isn't.
It has the expectation of winning right away.
But you know what, though? If they went off and they hired a Dave Martinez or Alex Cora or something like that.
It's your first job.
It's your first job. You know what? You're going to grow with this team.
And you're going to make some mistakes early in your managerial career, and that's okay.
Yes.
We don't expect perfection from you.
But they're getting a guy who's 59 years old and not going to be managing for that much longer. I mean, when you reach 60 years old, you're not looking at, okay, where am I going to be in 10 years career-wise?
You're looking at where am I buying my retirement home?
Exactly. So what has been told to Ron Gardenhire here? I mean, can Tigers fans maybe look at the silver lining with all of this and think, okay, well, maybe they're going to go out and spend some money this offseason? Can you look at it like that? Or is this a complete backwards shit show that we're seeing rolled up here by Chris Ilitch and Al Avila, where it's going to look like the Pistons were in Joe Dumars' final years, where there was absolutely zero direction with that team.
Or any reason to show up to the ballpark.
Yeah. Because that's how it was with the Pistons when Joe Dumars was in his final years. There was zero direction with this team. Joe Dumars was going out there drafting, whoever, whenever. He was trading, when he was going and getting, what the fuck was his name from Chicago? That point guard.
Ben Gordon.
Or that guard.
Combo
It's two
guard,
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, going out and signing a guy like Ben Gordon, going out and Charlie Villanueva, Corey Maggette, and I mean, there was no rhyme or reason behind what Joe Dumars was doing. This is kind of the feeling that I'm getting right now with this Gardenhire hiring, is that there's no direction which way or the other. Because you know what, they went out and they hired these analytical guys to go and work in this department. You got the sense, okay, they're gonna start to
use that data wisely.
Yeah, they're on board with new age baseball here. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see how it works out. Look, I love Jim Leland. God bless him. I thought he was excellent for this team.
When was the last time Jim Leland managed? 13?
Was it 13?
Was it 12 or 13?
I think it was after the 13th season. Because that was the season that they...
Torrey Hunter flipping over the wall.
Yeah. So 14 was Ausmus's first season. Year. Yes.
The game has changed monumentally in those 4 years.
So you know what? I'm fine with moving on from...
Roster construction theory is entirely different.
I'm fine with moving on from what that was. I'm fine with it.
But you may be able to call Jim Leland the last great manager by the gut.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Definitely the last great manager by the gut in this town.
Sure.
But you might be able to make that statement in all of baseball. Because you look at the kind of guys, the old schoolers who are still around. Bruce Bochy has adapted. What's his name? They were the Angels. God, why do I
Mike Scioscia?
Mike Scioscia. I could picture him, but I can't. Mike Scioscia has adapted.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, you could say Mike Scioscia's been kind of using this off and on for the last decade. A little bit here, a little bit there. who else? Dusty Baker. They ran him out of town for refusing to adapt after making the playoffs both of his seasons at the helm. Not in advance. Mm-hmm. He made the playoffs both years. He was like a combined, 50 games over 500? He's gone. Yeah. Joe Girardi has adapted.
And Joe Girardi has
And those who refuse to adapt, like Robin Ventura, Kirk Gibson is mostly because of his health. Mm-hmm. And, look around the league. They're gone.
Look, Freddie Gonzalez doesn't have a job.
Gonzalez doesn't have a job. A managerial job. Who's somebody's third base coach.
Marlins
third base, first base, whatever. He's on the Marlins.
I think he's the third base coach. Whatever though.
Sure. Those guys do not have jobs anymore.
Nope.
Yet you just hired a dinosaur out of the closet.
And like I said,
to run this team who's not going to be built in that image.
Dorf, like I said,
or if this team is going to be built in that image, it's going to be constant, 93 win, regular seasons with first round exits.
Mm-hmm. That's all Ron Gardenhire was good for. I mean,
an 88 to 93 win regular season and a first round playoff exit, absolutely.
Yeah, go look at his win loss record. It's not great.
It's terrible.
It's not great, and
to be fair, Minnesota was a disaster of an organization for the majority of his tenure, and that's not his fault. It's because the damn owners up there are too damn cheap to even, spend league average.
And can we say when Minnesota was making 6 straight playoffs that the AL Central just wasn't that good? Yeah. The Royals sucked. Tigers
sucked. Tigers were
okay.
They were
they were coming up.
Indians blew and the White Sox blew.
Yeah.
White Sox blew as soon as they won that 04 World Series.
I think it was 05.
05 World Series. Red Sox were in 04. 05 World Series.
Against the Astros.
They haven't been good since. The White Sox.
They will be, though.
They will be.
They're going to be damn good.
That's how that... You need to watch that on how to rebuild a fucking farm system in 3 weeks.
And that's something that's going to be scary, too, for Detroit.
Holy shit.
Is... White Sox have the best farm system in all of baseball, people.
Absolutely.
And they are going to be...
guess what? The Royals are going to suck for the next decade. The Indians are in the middle of their peak. White Sox are going to be very good shortly. Tigers have plateaued and are bottoming out. Look out. Minnesota's... Oh, by the way, the Twins made the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. Nope. Anybody who's any good on that team isn't arbitration eligible yet.
Yeah.
Look out.
And I like how people are talking about, he knows this division. What does he know about this division? What does he know
about... rosters change every 3 years!
What does he know about this division?
Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer's still around.
Yeah.
Since he's been managing in Kansas City, well, let's disregard Eric Hosmer because he's probably not going to be back there. Mike Moustakas and Alex Gordon are left over.
Anybody in Cleveland still there?
Nope.
Jason Kipnis, was he?
Maybe.
Carlos Santana, was he there?
He's a free agent.
Okay.
Anybody from the White Sox? Nope.
Definitely not the White Sox.
Oh, you might have had 6 months of Jose Abreu. Sorry.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember. I mean, his own Twins team, the only guy left is Joe Mauer.
Yeah. What happened to Johan Santana? I know he got hurt. Did he ever...
I knew he just briefly recently. Nets in 15?
See it? Who cares? Don't even look it up.
All right.
I don't know if he's on the Skeeters or whatnot, but...
I'm sure he's on Skeeters.
Yeah.
Knows this division.
See, I got blocked.
The same.
See, I got blocked by Chris McCoskey on
you
on
poor
Twitter.
soul. That's probably better for you.
Well, look at what he says.
Hey, you don't get to sit. You don't have to have fluff pieces show up in your Twitter.
Look, he said a lot of uninformed assumptions about Ron Gardenhire's attitude towards analytics. How about we let him explain himself before crucifying him? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's not an uninformed assumption when you directly quote the man.
Yes, you can directly quote that Ron Gardenhire doesn't like numbers.
Lie.
Yes,
data is wrong,
and he's 59 years old. If he was 25,
I think Mr. McCoskey should do some reading about the plasticity of brains.
Oh my God, the amount of nut fluffing that you're gonna see from Chris McCoskey over these next 3 seasons. Get ready, folks.
Well, and what's even more telling?
Better get the butter.
Did you watch
lined up with that one?
Did you hear the press room? Let's call it when Gardenhire was introduced.
Where the people start clapping.
Thunderous round of applause.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Shows you what kind of boobs we got right in doing beat, covering the beat in this town.
God.
Thunderous round of applause for an introduction to a manager of a bad baseball team.
Are you supposed to be impartial with all of this?
Impartiality in journalism died a long time ago. Now, you know what you are as a sports journalist? An extension of the PR outlet. That's all you are.
No, but you know what though? Look. Again, this isn't the
especially an Illichone team. That wouldn't be the first time they.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Wouldn't be the first. It wouldn't be unprecedented.
But you don't have to sit here. You don't have to sit here and clap. What are they forcing people to clap, or else you get your credential, rescinded?
That might be the unofficial
Jesus
expectation,
Christ. Man. That is awful. That is embarrassing.
You know what happens when other managers get introduced in other towns?
Nothing.
All you hear is the clicking of the photographers.
Yeah.
The clicking of the cameras.
Jesus.
Not, clapping like a bunch of drunk seals. Good God. Are we done with Gardenhire? I mean, our thought.
Let's see.
Our thoughts are abundantly apparent.
We have some comments here.
Do we?
Yeah, Chris, anyone who thinks he's the wrong direction is clueless. Okay. Kyle, this guy has zero pressure to win. That is,
you're a Major League Baseball organization. You have pressure to win.
There's pressure to win, but he's not as under as much
the expectation
pressure.
Is not World Series or bust.
No,
correct.
No, Michael, you guys don't know. Okay.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, Dave. Everyone is an expert when they don't have any skin in the game.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not claiming to be an expert. I just follow what the data tells me to do.
Anyways, I'm ready. You can move on if you want.
Okay, let's move on. Speaking of shitstorms, Michigan Wolverines.
I thought you were going to talk about Cabrera's baby's mama.
We can do that too. Let's do that real quick first. Pull that up. From the...
Is that in the cut room floor?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll save it for that.
Okay. Speaking of shitstorms,
lots of shitstorms.
Shit everywhere. How about that Wolverine football program? Great showing there in primetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great showing.
Hey Dorf, I'm going to pose this question to you, and I know you're wearing your Spartan get up right now.
Yes, sir.
Is their defense any good? Okay, defensive line is good.
Yeah, I mean you've got three future. Here's the deal: Rashawn Gary is going to be a first-round pick, regardless of if his college production ever picks up.
Yes,
just on physical talent alone.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice Hurst is probably going to go in the top. He's going to go this year to a non-playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
And Winovich will probably be a try-hard on somebody's practice squad because he's just not big enough. Brian Moan has the chance of being somebody's 3-4-2 down nose tackle. Yeah. Linebacker Mike McCrae's, he's all right. He's okay. Devin Bush, I'm sorry, midgets don't play linebacker from my school.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. He's generously, what's he listed at? 5'10"?
It's got a lot of heart though, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you get knocked over. Now all of a sudden he's not coming off the edge and they're trying to bring up the middle. He looks like he's afraid of contact. And sorry, I don't remember number 59's name, but he's nothing special.
Anyways, my point though, Dorf, is...
But their secondary is below Big Ten average.
My point though, Dorf...
Indiana has a better secondary.
The measure of a good defense, in my opinion, is what you do against good teams. And quite frankly, last night they failed.
Oh, God, yeah.
They failed. Look, if
they didn't
hold on.
get any help in the second half.
Hold on. If you go into that game and lose, that's fine. Look, you're playing the number 2 team in the country.
In their building.
In their building, prime time, under the lights. If you go in there and you lose, I understand. It's a tough game.
There's very few ways you can
it's the Big
come
Ten.
out being disrespected in that game.
It's the Big Ten too, and any road game is in some ways it's a tough game. Unless you're going to Rutgers. But the measure of a good defense or a good offense in any sense is what you do against good teams. They had, what was the final last night?
45-13.
Yeah.
I believe it was,
was
45 or 42? 40-something to 13.
But you
42-13, sorry.
But you go in there and you have a team score over 40 points on a defense that was supposedly one of the best in the country.
Oh, the best, if you believe what you've heard.
I'm sorry. Not a defense that is going to be a tremendous asset for you.
You know what I'm going to defend Michigan's defense here in the second half. I'm sorry. What did they have in the second half total offense? Less than 100 yards?
Yeah. Something like that.
Didn't have, time of possession dominated.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing on the road. You could start taking risks, and you know what? Penn State's pretty fucking good. They're going to take advantage of that. I can't really be upset about the second half. You know what? At halftime, they're down 8. Offense didn't do shit in the second half. Now, 42 points isn't good.
No, it's
None
not.
of them were defensive scores. Hell, the only bad turnover of the night was Trace McSorley hitting David Long in stride. That's it. Yeah, O'Corn lost a fumble.
He also got sacked. I think he got sacked 7 times. Offensive line.
That's scheme, man. Yeah. That's unwillingness to max protect. And you know why you can't max protect? Wide receivers are crap.
This is the thing, though.
Guys can't get. You can't run a 3-man route and rely on some guy just being better than the guy across from him. You have to scheme these guys open because they're not any good.
Dorf, here's the deal. This is what it is for Michigan fan.
What's that?
Now. 2 things.
Sure.
You have to. For me, it is you have to realize that you have to admit one of these. That A, you're a tremendously overrated team, and that you're just not any good.
Okay.
And you...
Is that the one or the other, or are you about to
Well, this is the other one.
Okay.
You have to realize that the Big Ten is never going to be the same again. You're never going back to what the Big Ten was before.
You're talking Big 2, Little 8?
Yes. That is, by all account, over. Because you know what? I don't care right now. I don't care about any of the excuses that we're going to hear. That this is a team that
it's a young team.
It's
they
a young
lost
team
so much. Everybody loses a bunch every year.
Yes.
It's college.
Yes.
They age out every 4 years.
You have. This was supposed to be a time and a place where Jim Harbaugh was going to come to this program and roster turnover wasn't going to be an issue. Because you know what? You're going to come in, you're going to dominate. It was going to be the collegiate equivalent to a dynasty here.
And here's the other thing. You can't there's no excuse for being outcoached. You have the highest paid staff. You have higher paid staffs than the NFL.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is another reason.
You have more people working for your football department in coaching and or pseudo coaching roles than anybody.
Not only that, Dorf, on top of having that NFL caliber coaching staff.
How many guys?
Hold on. One thing. Not only do you have those NFL caliber coaching staffs, but you are still getting the best players in the country.
Recruiting is not an issue.
To come to your school. And yet you could not take these guys. You cannot there's no, you know what? There's no reason why they shouldn't have a wide receiver to throw to aside from Grant Perry.
And you know what Grant Perry was? A 3-star recruit? Lightly recruited 3-star from Ohio.
No reason whatsoever. There's no reason whatsoever the offensive line should be as bad as they are.
Oh, they're terrible.
No reason whatsoever. And you know what?
There's no reason. They're going to give an excuse for this. Only one guy playing on that offensive line currently. 2 guys. Both the guards are Harbaugh guys. The other 2 are, it's
doesn't matter.
Recruits.
Doesn't matter.
Mason Cole is a pretty fucking good player. He's a Hoke recruit.
Yeah, they were both highly touted prospects heading into their college careers. So there's no excuse for that.
Absolutely none.
The secondary, again, there's no excuse for the secondary being as bad as what they are. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm tired of the excuses because that's what we're going to hear from them. And you know what? Jim Harbaugh has to get it done next year. This season's a walk. This season is over.
Oh, yeah.
This season is over.
You're probably going to get blown out in similar fashion too the next 3 weeks.
It has to be a Big Ten title next year or bust.
Think Ward Manuel will summon the gumption to give him his pink slip?
No.
He's unfireable.
No, he won't. I think it's going to take Jim Harbaugh walking out on his own. And
here's the other thing. When does Jim Harbaugh ever stayed in more than one place in more than 5 years?
Nowhere.
Now, a lot of it was due to promotion. But the San Francisco 49ers got sick enough of him that they let him go to Michigan without a fight.
Mm-hmm. After
back-to-back conference title games.
I will still contend that was a huge mistake on their part.
Look what they've been since.
Awful.
Shit heap.
Yeah. And there's no hope in sight with that team right now.
No, absolutely none.
That is a shit show. That is Millen era shit show. And they may end up being the next Millen era team, considering who's running that franchise right now. You have Martin Mayhew there, and
Martin Mayhew's in there. Oh, that's right, he is in their front office.
Yeah, and who's the GM there? John Lynch or something?
Oh, it is John Lynch.
Yeah, former TV guy.
Yeah.
I guess we can't. I guess
John Lynch was at least a good pro.
So.
Matt Millen wasn't.
So.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't know. I guess we're not learning from mistakes of the past of other teams. But anyways, but yeah, that's what we're at right now with Michigan. So what is it, Michigan fans? Are you going to admit that
you're not any good?
That you're not any good. You're tremendously overrated, and you might have a tremendously overrated head coach,
and that you're only the victim of your own hype machine.
Or are we going to admit that the Big Ten, as we once knew it, is never going to return? It will never.
It is never going to return.
It will never, ever, ever return. Michigan is no longer going to be one of those teams that is going to be.
If you don't bring your A game, it's fourth in your own side of the conference every year.
It's not going to be one of those things where Michigan dominates 8 out of 10 years.
No,
never again.
Guess what? If you're going at the last 2 decades of success, you're 4th best team in your own division.
And maybe in that sense, maybe I'm being too hard on Jim Harbaugh, because maybe it's not going to be like that anymore. Maybe it's a different set of rules now. Maybe
different set of expectations.
Expectations. Maybe that's the case.
Hey, here's the deal. You better come back in a big way if you're the University of Michigan. You got 3 layups in a row. You got 2 cupcake home games coming back to back, followed by a cupcake road game. You play Rutgers this week, Minnesota the week after.
What is it 2 straight? You're tied with 4th in the Division 2.
Oh yeah, by the way, you're battle for 4th in the Big Ten East. Rutgers, that should be a layup at home. You know what? We better see Brandon Peters in that game, because you know why? It's a blowout. Minnesota.
You need to see Brandon Peters next week. From start
to finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Season's over. It's not. I mean, we're not.
Yeah, get them ready for the big tests.
Yeah.
The final 2 weeks of the season.
This is a gift.
The final 2 weeks of the season.
This is a gift in a sense, because you're going to be able to put Brandon Peters here in
games that he should be absent, be able to be absent, and they should still win.
Yes.
Minnesota, who lost again this week.
Yeah.
And then at Maryland, who's on like their 17th string quarterback. You should win all 3 of those games easily. This game should be over in the third quarter.
Hell, you know what? Heading into this season, you should have won last night. Heading into the season...
I would say it better have been more competitive. I'm not saying to win.
Heading into this season, based on expectation, you're supposed to win that game last night.
Okay.
Hey, this is... Look what we just said. This is Jim Harbaugh in his 3rd season. This is Jim Harbaugh with an NFL caliber coaching staff. This is
his words, not ours.
This is Jim Harbaugh with high-end recruits still, some of the best high school football players in the country coming to your program. And right now...
You don't have a wide receiver. You're right totally empty of offensive talent.
Dorf, Halloween is next week.
Yes, sir.
And Michigan is tied for 4th place with Rutgers in the Big Ten East. In Jim Harbaugh's 3rd fucking season with Michigan.
I'm laughing all the way.
You know what this is going to get you? You know what bowl game this is going to get you?
Enjoy the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? That's where the Big Ten number 9 goes.
You're gonna be going to a game.
Going down 994 to Detroit.
Yep. And you know what? It's going to be packed full of Michigan fans. And the other school, whoever it is you're playing, is going to have...
MAC number 3.
Yep, it's going to have maybe one section.
So University of Ohio.
Yep, they're going to have one section there.
Or you might play Western. Who knows?
So that's this whole thing in perspective. And
no, you'll probably end up somewhere in Arizona playing like Syracuse or something
and
like
if you're a Michigan fan coming in here and saying that you're not going to hold Harbaugh's feet to the fire next season, what are we doing then? What are we doing? How long?
You have a $9 million head coach. Your offensive staff makes like a collective like 5.
You're the same.
The rest of your offensive staff and your defensive staff
yes.
makes just as much.
You're the same group of fans that got tired of Lloyd Carr.
You got tired of 10-2. 10-2 in a Big Ten championship
you know what?
Every third year.
If that's the case, then this is the same Michigan fan base that has been soft during the Rich Rod era and during the Brady Hoke era, when you're just, we just want to get back to respectability. You're Michigan people. This is Michigan.
You not have your soundboard up?
No, I don't. Shouldn't you be wanting more? Shouldn't you be wanting more than 4th in the Big Ten with Halloween coming next week? You just got embarrassed on the road by Penn State.
On national TV.
By pedophile you got embarrassed on the road. So, that's it, Dorf.
No excuses.
Nope.
No excuses left.
And the thing is, too,
you can't blame the weather this week.
You know, before we were heading into the season, the only thing that you were hearing about in this state when it came to college football is...
Oh, you watch out, Sparty. Your time's over.
Your time is over, and is Mark...
a decade of Michigan dominance is coming around the corner.
And is Mark Dantonio going to lose his job after this season? That's what we were hearing.
No, he's gone 6-1 with a team that can barely score 20 points a game.
You know what we've seen here? This is a Brady.
He's bowl eligible before you.
This is a
with a team that can't average 20 a game.
This is a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type of contest here, where you're trying to figure out who the better head coach is, and then Mark Dantonio this season just laid it all on the table like Tom Brady did and said, I'm the best coach in this state. No question about it.
Have been for the last decade. I ain't slowing down.
No debate about it. I am the best football coach, the best college football coach in this state. Jim Harbaugh may have more versatility as far as dealing with the NFL game and so on and so forth. I can't say that Mark Dantonio could go to the NFL.
Mark Dantonio is a terrible evaluator of offensive coaching talent.
Yeah. I can't say that Mark Dantonio is could go to the NFL and take a team to the Super Bowl. I can't say that. As far as college goes, Mark Dantonio is the better head coach. No question about it. And anybody out there who wants to argue that, look at the results. Look at the results with the team in hand. He was able to do it with Le'Veon Bell. You can go on from there, too. I'm sure Dorf can name off, numbers of Michigan State players who were shit shows heading into the program, but Mark Dantonio managed to turn them into
respectable pros.
Or respectable college players. I'm not going to ask you to go and do that. I know you can, though.
Yeah.
But, anyways.
You've got 2 starting corners in the NFL. There were 2 star recruits.
What was Connor Cook going into it?
3.
What was Jesus?
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Barely a 3. His only other offer was from Northern Illinois.
And Kirk Cousins pushed out
Nick Foles.
Who,
by the way, has also started in this league.
And he pushed out
Brian Hoyer.
Oh, I'm talking about the NFL level, RG3.
Yep.
He pushed out
a former number 2 overall pick.
Yep. Won that battle. It wasn't even a contest.
No, smoked him.
Yep. Is RG3 even in the league anymore?
Nope.
Probably never will be either.
Nope.
And you have Kirk Cousins right now.
You've got 2 starting corners in this league. You've had top right tackle in the game is a recent grad. You've got the longest tenured defensive tackle in the world, it seems like, in Domata Peko. Now, he is a pre-Dantonio era player. Can't really claim him. He's been around forever. You guys all over this league. Got the best running back in the world. Guy's gonna go, if he can stay out of trouble, he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You've got how many guys starting in the secondary across the league? How many linebackers have you put in the league? You got a couple starting defensive linemen too. Not to mention 4 active quarterbacks. Oh, by the way, Drew Stanton's starting again.
Yeah.
He'll be starting again after Carson Palmer broke his arm. Michigan State will have 3 different guys start a game this year, quarterback, in the league, or alumni. Maybe 4th if Derek Carr gets hit again. What have you done for me lately, guys?
You talking Michigan?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You haven't had individual success at the professional level? You haven't had team success at the college level? Boy, you can recruit.
Those recruits
you can recruit.
Those recruits mean absolutely nothing, though, if it doesn't turn anything on.
That's why I don't follow it anymore. That's why I don't get upset. Like, oh man, just filling out this class with a bunch of lowly rated players. Joe Bacci is going to be a first-team fucking All-American. 2-star recruit.
2-star?
His only other offers were from the MAC. Guy starting as a true sophomore on one of the best defenses in the country. Forces a turnover. He's averaging a turnover and a half forced a game.
And this is a team right now, this Michigan State team, that isn't supposed to be what they're doing right now.
No, they're 6-1 and they can't score 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that has to do with play calling and aptitude.
Yeah.
Offensively.
What was Lewerke coming in?
He was a 4.
Was he a 4?
He was a 4. No, he was a Elite 11 guy. No, he was good. Speaking of, now time to talk about my program. LJ Scott played being arrested, albeit for something minor, a victimless crime, if you will, driving without a license. So, 7th citation. It's not his 7th arrest. 7th citation for a traffic-related incident in 18 months. Whoever's been reporting it, ESPN on the television. 7th arrest? No. 3 incidents, including this one here. 3 incidents in 18 months. Yes. None of it is good. None of it is acceptable. He was suspended from off-season activities. He did get punished in the off-season. Yeah. You know what? I thought it was
and still keeps on fucking up.
Yeah. I thought it was a little weak. a one. Oh, you're not going to start the game, not play the first series. I think that's a little weak. But to act like this is some all-world revelation. Oh, Dantonio's just spineless, just only playing because he needs a win. If that was the case, he would have stuck with those guys this past offseason. Austin Robertson would still be a member of this team. I doubt King, Corley, and Vance would, because you know what? They're in the criminal system.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
No, look.
Yeah, you know what? An 18-year-old got in a car accident in Ohio and left the scene of an accident. It's not good. It's dumb.
I told you.
It happened.
I told you what I do with this one, Dorf. I suspend him for the entire game.
Oh yeah, and you know I wouldn't have had any room to complain. But at the same time, in the eyes of Michigan State's football program, that's the only ones they have to justify it to. Eyes of the university, he's been punished for the previous incidents, which are minor in nature.
And
you know what? He got punished again to the severity of this individual incident. Hey, you got pulled over and you had to go to go down to the cop shop because your license wasn't in order. Fucking fix it. You've caused a distraction for this program, thereby you're not starting. Okay. That's the only people they have to justify it is the people within the four walls of the Scandalaria Center.
That's fine. You know what?
I wouldn't have been upset if it was a multi-game suspension. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't. I totally wouldn't have been upset. I wouldn't have, called out Mark Dantonio here today. Wow, that's fucking harsh. No. But at the same time, I wouldn't have been upset either if nothing happened. And he played the first drive. Michigan State rotates their running backs to a fucking fault. So who knows? He may have not been punished at all. It may have just been Mondre London's series according to the game plan.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you get a suspend him for the entire game. I think you make an example out of it. Look, these are still young players. They're still college players.
Yeah.
You've got to set an example, and you've got to set a precedent with this. That look, this is ridiculous. 7 offenses now. 7 offenses.
Okay, 3 incidents.
I don't care. I don't care.
7 charges.
I don't care.
Okay.
You're trying to justify it with that.
I just think the 7th offense is highly misleading, considering it that makes it sound like 7 separate times he's got popped for something. It's 7 things surrounding 3 incidents. 1 being the most recent of suspend. 1 is the most recent thing.
Dorf, he's gotten in trouble 7 different times.
No, it's not 7 different times. It's 3 different times.
Okay. When's enough though with all of this? When's enough?
You know why his license was suspended in Michigan? You'd pay a fucking parking ticket.
Okay, at this point, you've got to.
You're going to suspend a guy because he forgot to pay a ticket.
No. At this point, you have to be. Look. You have to be on top of this, LJ. You have to.
Absolutely, be a responsible
You
adult.
have to. This is part of growing up and being a responsible member of society.
Fair.
If you cannot do this, if you cannot pay a simple traffic ticket, then I'm sorry. You're telling me more about where your priorities are, how your outlook is in all of this. You're sitting down and you're rethinking all of this through. That's how it's going to be. You're not playing this week against Indiana. We'll reevaluate We'll reevaluate the situation going in next week, and that's going to be it.
And you know what? Getting back to what I kind of led in with, I don't have strong feelings either way on this. I get why the course of action that was chosen. I also don't. I'm not upset that people were calling for more and thought that it was a little bit light. It is. Has shown from his play on the field this year that he's unwilling to take care of the little things. Hey, LJ, hold on to the fucking ball. Well, that's his 4th fumble this week. Yeah, unwillingness to pay attention to detail. That's what you should have some ramifications to that. And that's why I said I don't feel strongly here. But one side or the other, I'm not willing to take a stand or die on a hill here. It's a bad look. It's a really bad look. But at the same time, inside the four walls of the Scandalaris Center, or Scandalaris Building, whatever you want to call it, was failing to pay a parking ticket, or not, it's not parking ticket. Stop saying parking ticket. Moving violation ticket, a civil infraction. Is that worth reducing my ability to win today?
Well, this is what he has here.
Sure, go ahead.
February of 2016, Scott was pulled over by East Lansing police and charged with driving on a suspended license. The charge was later dropped in exchange for an equipment violation, citation, and fines, totaling $500. March 2016, an Ohio State Patrol trooper pulled Scott over near Ashland, Ohio, for driving 87 in a 70 speed zone. He was also charged with driving without a license, a misdemeanor. Court records show he was found guilty on both counts and paid $330 in fines. April of 2016, Scott was involved in a vehicle crash near Cleveland, Ohio. He was initially charged with leaving the scene of a crash and driving without a valid license, but court records show those charges were dismissed after Scott pleaded guilty to one count of reckless driving, a minor misdemeanor in Ohio, and paid $531. July of 2016, Scott was pulled over by Michigan State University Police in East Lansing for driving without his headlights turned on. According to a police report obtained by the Lansing State Journal, Scott told officers he and a friend were leaving a party. Scott admitted a red plastic cup in the center console that contained alcohol belonged to him. Scott passed a sobriety test according to the report and was charged with driving on a suspended license and driving with an open alcohol container. Both charges were later dropped when Scott pleaded to 2 counts of impeding traffic on a civil infraction. In March of this year, Scott was pulled over by a Michigan State University police officer and charged with driving on a suspended license. The charge was dismissed in exchange for Scott's plea to 1 count of impeding traffic. In July, Scott was charged near his hometown of Hubbard, Ohio, while with driving on a suspended license. He ultimately pleaded no contest to a lesser charge of driving without a valid license, court records show. And then we had what happened this past
week.
So again, those are separate incidents here.
Fair.
Separate incidents.
And you know what? This is 100% on me. I didn't do good enough research. I was going off something else that it was 3. Because I knew about the accident in Cleveland. I knew about the open alcohol container that day. I didn't bother to do any further investigation into the rest of this. Honestly, that still doesn't change my sentiment here. I don't feel strongly in either direction. I don't.
Sparty.
Yeah, I know. Call me a homer. So, yep, I am. Okay. What's new? Next.
Yeah, like I said, I think he needs to be suspended at least a week or at least a game. Sorry,
it's too late now. You let him play.
Yeah, and that's
a bit. Yeah,
and that's not good. I mean,
no, it's
and
not.
The thing is it's not just Michigan State that lets their players get away with shit like this. I mean,
it's everybody.
A lot of programs do this, and you could argue this is one of the biggest problems in college football. You have players, going
major college revenue athletics.
They can go and essentially do whatever they please without any strong ramification. I mean, what do you have to do to get suspended from one of these teams? Do you have to go rape somebody?
I'm pretty sure that would do it.
I mean, in some cases, that still isn't even...
Hey, some guys get suspended for not going to class, or being late to class, not just not going, being tardy.
I mean, look at all this shit that Jameis Winston got away with
absolutely.
in Florida State.
Yeah, theft.
That doesn't make any of this all right, though.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So, anyways.
Oh, it's not good. I don't feel strongly either way. I just don't. I'm not upset that he played. I'm not upset that he wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be upset if he hadn't. All right. Anything else you want to cover here?
No.
Anything else that's not listed on the topic list that you'd like to sneak in?
No.
All right. Last but not least, the cut room floor tonight. That would be The Andreas Athanasiou holdout is finally over. Got him for just under $1.4 million. That's a steal. Considering he turned down an offer of 1.9. It was two at 1.9.
Well, all of this is to get to arbitration quicker.
And you know what? That's a gamble that Athanasiou and his agent have decided to take.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'll probably pay off, assuming he doesn't come out and have a dud season.
It probably will.
The worst he's going to get next year is more of the same, about the same deal. Best case scenario, you're looking at a couple $1 million raise.
Yeah.
So, Miguel Cabrera sued by a...
One thing about that. Did you have anything in about Sheehan?
Yeah.
Traded?
It's next one.
Okay, well, let's...
Okay, yeah, we'll do Sheehan. So, in order to free up the cap space necessary for Andreas Athanasiou, Riley Sheehan was dealt to the Pittsburgh Penguins, along with a fifth-rounder this upcoming draft for forward Scott Wilson and a third-rounder. Wilson was on the Penguins' active roster. He's not a minor leaguer.
Nope.
One of those, fourth-liner, healthy scratch types. Quite honestly, the production you've gotten around Riley Sheehan, you're getting a wash.
No, you're getting it. Yeah, you're improving.
A similarly talented player.
He had 8 goals last season as opposed to Riley Sheehan's 2.
One.
No, he had 2. He had 2. He had 2 the final game of the
season. 2 the final game of the year.
Yep.
After playing almost every night.
Yep.
So they got.
He also had 6 points through 20 games in the playoffs with the Penguins.
Okay.
Last season.
So yeah, he got a third rounder in Wilson for Sheehan and a fifth.
Yep.
Also, the Red Wings made another trade, sending minor league defenseman Ryan Sproul to the Rangers for forward. I deleted his name. For another minor league forward, Matt Pumpel.
Well, anyway,
it's a weird spelling. I can't pronounce it.
I mean, the most important thing about this whole deal and everything like that is it makes room for Athanasiou to cap-wise to bring him aboard, to make everything official, to file the paperwork with the league.
Athanasiou is a better player than Riley Sheehan.
Oh, absolutely. And it's...
You didn't lose anything by trading him for Scott Wilson.
The unfortunate thing about this is we're probably not going to be able to see Athanasiou until like mid next week. He's got to reapply for a visa. I know he's got to come back over from Switzerland. I'm hearing he's got to stop in Toronto, get his shit in order there, and then make his way over to Detroit. So it sounds like
not to mention getting game shape. He'll probably play. Would you expect him to play a game or two in Grand Rapids on a conditioning stint?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm thinking he might be up right away.
Right away as soon as he's able.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might not see him for another game or two.
Yeah, I mean, he was skating. I'm sure he was scrimmaging and all that too. So I'm sure it'll be fine. But the thing about this, though, and this is the trouble with quote unquote retooling on the fly. I know that's a phrase that Ken Holland has used, I believe, before. But next year, the Red Wings are going to be running into a bit of they're going to have a conundrum on their
another
hand.
Salary cap conundrum.
I mean, they're going to have Anthony Mantha, Dylan Larkin. Or not Riley Sheehan, Andreas Athanasiou, and Peter Mrazek, all restricted free agents next year.
Isn't Xavier led a RFA too?
I can't remember. I'm not as concerned about him though. But
why is that? You don't like him?
I mean, he's okay. I mean, as when you're talking those guys though, Xavier Ouellet is
far down your list. He's at the bottom of that list.
Now, Ken Holland is going to have to.
Make some hard decisions.
It's not over yet. I mean, with Athanasiou in the fold, it's not. I mean, you've got to look. You've got to look towards
more
next
money
season.
this year to Stephen Weiss than you are to Andreas.
Yeah, you've got to look. You've got to look to next season. You've got to try to figure out what you're going to do to be able to bring all those guys back.
Martin Firk as well.
Yeah, Martin Firk as well.
And no, Ouellet's covered until the year after. So yeah, that's it.
But anyways, you've got to figure out how you're going to be able to keep all these guys in the fold. I mean, you've got to figure out how you're going to, rid yourself of some of these bad contracts that you have. And this is why, in a sense, you can't be good this year. I mean, you can't bring on any more money to this team. You have to figure out a way to be able to comfortably get all of these guys under the cap next year with some money left over, so you can bring some guys up from Grand Rapids if you need to.
Here's a good point for you. So Dylan Larkin's making $925,000 a year, at least double to triple that money. Mm-hmm. Mantha, $863, double to triple that. Dylan David Booth, who cares? He's walking.
David Booth might be gone by the time Athanasiou comes up. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. He's on a 2-way deal. He's probably going to go back. He's probably going to get sent to the minors. Ferk, $650,000. If he keeps up his early season pace, he'll be making at least double that. And Scott Wilson is arbitration eligible next year.
They'll probably
625. He might. You know what? He's a organizational filler. Who cares?
Yeah.
Mrazek, making $4 million this year. Guess what, guys? If he's league average, he gets a raise.
That's the thing. Is you're gonna
have $10 million in goalies.
A big decision is going to have to be made right then and there. I don't know. You can't keep both Mrazek and Howard going forward next season if you want to bring back Larkin, Mantha, and Athanasiou, and Ferk for that matter. This is not you can't do it. You can't do it. And you're absolutely right, Dorf. If he's league average, you're already paying him $4 million a season. He is going to get a raise.
Yeah.
I mean, do you let Mrazek walk and you roll with Howard for one more year and then you sign him to another contract extension? Or
and at the same time, if you're 34, 35-year-old Jimmy Howard, are you really going to want to stick around here while they flounder trying to rebuild?
Exactly. Maybe that's the perfect situation.
Did Jimmy Howard ever win a cup? Was he on that 08 team?
I don't know if his name is on the cup. I believe he was in the organization though, because when they won in 08, Dominic Hasek was backing him up. Was backing up
Osgood and Hasek.
Because Osgood stole the job in the playoffs.
Because Hasek had a couple.
I think it was in a Nashville series in the first round. Was when he took it.
Speaking of which, the Red Wings have a shit ton of picks this next year. They have 5 in the first 3 rounds, and 1 first, 2 seconds, 2 threes, a 4, no 5th, 2 sixths, and a conditional 7th.
Yeah, pick wise, the Wings are going to be the Wings are in good shape.
And they own all their picks for the following 2 seasons.
Yeah. Pick wise, they're in very, very good shape. I mean, they have a very good opportunity here to get a lot of good young players under the fold.
And here's the deal: you do not have a goalie in the system that is going to be ready. You're gonna have to sign a veteran backup if you decide to let Howard or Mrazek go. You do not have a goalie in the system that's ready.
Oh, they'll
Jared Kuru sucks balls.
No, they could roll with him as a backup. I know what you said the other day, Dorf. It's not a 2 goalie system in this league. It's not. Especially
I'm saying is it's trending towards being
especially if you're a bad team. It's not going to work like that.
Okay.
It will work with him. There is that one kid that they drafted this year.
Yeah, but he's still isn't he sticking around in college?
I don't know if he is or not.
I thought he was.
Either way, though, I mean, he's in the system though. He's going.
They own his rights. Yes, he's not currently playing pro hockey, but they own his rights.
But he is going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the guy they drafted?
Yes, it's like for Reluzzi or something like that.
It's for Boston U, right?
Something like that. I don't know. Big goalie though.
Yeah, big man.
Big man.
Keith Petzarelli.
Petzarelli, that's where it is. He's going to be really good though, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
Petzarelli, this year's 3rd rounder. He's actually in the USHL this past year with Muskegon. I believe he's going to Boston.
The Lumberjacks? I think that's who they are.
I'll take your word for it. I don't keep up on USHL hockey. Where is he? Oh, he's with Quinnipiac.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep,
that's right.
Quinnipiac.
Yep.
Currently 2 games played, 907 save percentage, 3.38 goals allowed. College hockey, 3.38 with a 907 isn't all that bad.
No. They do good polls there, too.
What? The Quinnipiac poll. All right.
Is that his minor? Is he a
polling?
Is he a pollster? Is he a pollster?
Pollster? Minor in polling?
Running?
What's that? What's that a euphemism for? No, he takes polls. Data science. Get it right. It's data science. All right, 2 pieces of Tigers news before we go. Miguel Cabrera is currently being sued. Sued is taken to court by a
by his baby's mama.
Baby's mama, not his wife.
No.
For more child support, Cabrera has already bought her $1 million house and pays her $12 million a month in child support for $12,000 a month in child support.
Well, he didn't fully buy it for her because she's paying the mortgage on it now. She's complaining that she can't pay the mortgage. It's a $700,000 plus a month mortgage, from what I read.
$700,000 a month or $700 a month.
What was it?
There's no way it's $7,000 a month. You can get like a several $1 million house for $7,000 a month.
She's saying right now she can't pay the mortgage on it.
Artie has provided that for two children fathered by Cabrera. I believe they're 2 and 3 years old. Under the Florida, it is in Florida under Florida law. She's entitled to almost 10 times that, potentially 10 times that.
She'll get it.
Cabrera's income.
She'll get it. She will absolutely
like under
get
10,000, I believe, is the cap based on his income.
Yeah,
that she could be technically have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the Tigers announced at the introductory press conference to Ron Gardenhire that Anibal Sanchez will not be back at the team after having his option publicly declined, even though everybody knew that was going to happen like 2 years ago.
You know what?
Thank you,
Sanchez.
Thank you for your service.
Yep. Thank you, Sanchez. Thank you.
The first 4 years here. So year they traded for him, plus the first 3 years of his 5-year deal.
You know what though?
Damn good pitcher.
This season though, offering to go down
to the minors and just eat innings at the end of the year.
Yep. Thank you. There's not a lot of guys in baseball.
Like, fuck this, I want out.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys in baseball with his
resume experience, yada, yada.
Exactly, that would do something like that. So Sanchez, I hope he
catches on one more time with somebody.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what? If you take his last couple starts of the year, somebody will give him a shot on a minor league deal this season.
I hope so.
Somebody will.
Yeah, and I think, you know what?
He's just going to have to get used to that minimum salary life instead of the $16 million.
No. But yeah, thank you, Sanchez. Thank you.
Well, he does get a $5 million golden parachute for next season with the Tigers, so don't feel too bad. Got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, that is going to wrap up tonight's 152nd episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. Join us, well, we say each and every week. We promise next week. Each and every week.
Well, you won't be here next week.
Actually, I won't be here next week. Hopefully the part-timer will be here, so, because I know you won't do a show by yourself.
No, we've got to, Sean will, we've got to get him warmed up again. I'm thinking,
breaking back in.
Yeah, we've got, if there was a minor league system to this, he would.
So we're gonna delegate him to what's your show on Tuesday? XCast. We're gonna option him to XCast for a rehab assignment.
No, he can't. He can't roll with XCast. No, it's gonna be. I don't know. We'll figure out something for him.
All right. So for Adam, I'm Dorf. We'll see you guys next week.